When you're answering interview questions, one of the biggest challenges is finding the right balance between being detailed enough to demonstrate your expertise, but concise enough to hold the interviewer's attention, especially in tech interviews. Whether you're a software development engineer, a visual designer, or a product manager, the ability to structure information clearly and adapt to the level of detail to your audience is a core communication skill. And in this video, we're going to explore exactly how to do that using my STAR+HR model. It's a framework that helps you speak in structured layers, almost like an accordion, where you can expand or contract based on the interviewer's interest without losing logical flow or clarity of your story. Now, let's start by breaking down what the STAR+HR model actually means. It's a modern evolution on the classic STAR format. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. But I've added two additional sections, the headline and reflection, which helps you sound more confident, intentional, and self-aware. See, the headline is your two-sentence summary at the very start. It's where you reframe the question directly, state your main action, and summarize the outcome. It gives the interviewer immediate context and answers the question up front before you dive down into the details. It's concise, confident, and helps you guide where the conversation is going to go next. Then it comes to situation. In this section, you want to set the scene quickly, but clearly using three anchors: people, place, and time. Who was involved, where it happened, and when. Keep this to around 20 seconds because the goal isn't to narrate your life story, it's just to orient the listener. Think of it like loading the context into memory so that your technical details later will make sense. Next is the task. Think about the goal or problem you are solving and any key obstacles or constraints. You want to define what success looked like and why it mattered for the business. For software development engineers, that might mean improving system performance or code efficiency. For designers, maybe aligning user experience with business goals. And PMs, it might mean delivering a feature on time within scope and balancing the trade-offs. When you describe the task, stay focused on the business or product need. This shows that you understand not only the technical side, but also the value of your work in context. Now, we move on to the action section, the most important part of your interview. Many people make the mistake of only talking about what they did here. But the real insight comes from the how and why. The how demonstrates your method process and the decision making. The why demonstrates your understanding, reasoning, and leadership maturity. For example, if you are coding, the what is that you refactored the system. The how is how you approached it, the tools, data, and principles used. And the why is why you made those choices. Maybe to improve scalability or reduce latency or align to the company's architecture standards. Focusing on the how and why allows you to show both technical mastery and strategic thinking without rambling through a list of activities. Then we come to the result. This is where you quantify your impact. Measurable outcomes here are key. Whether it's a 30% improvement in load time, a 15% reduction in customer drop-off, or successfully leading a cross-functional team to deliver ahead of schedule, you need something tangible. But remember to keep it concise. 1 or 2 sentences that clearly expresses what changed as a result of your actions. And finally, we have reflection. This is what elevates your answer from good to memorable. Here, you briefly share what you learned, what you might do differently next time, or why it was successful. This shows growth, awareness, and alignment to continuous improvement. These are all traits highly valued in tech roles. Now, when it comes to delivering your STAR+HR answer, you want to think of it like an accordion. Each section can expand or contract depending on how much time you have and how interested the interviewer seems. For example, you might begin with headline and situation quite briefly, but if the interviewer leans in and seems curious about your technical stack or process, that's when you can expand your action section. You might say something like this: would you like me to go into more detail about the architecture I used, or prefer that I stay focused on the main principles? See, that small question does several things at once. It gives the interviewer control, which they appreciate. It makes your answer feel conversational rather than scripted, and it demonstrates your confidence in adapting on the fly, a key soft skill that differentiates senior candidates from average ones. Now, let's talk about timing. The ideal STAR+HR answer should run around 3 to 5 minutes. Considering that most people speak about 120 words per minute, that gives you roughly 360 to 600 words to work with. Now, 3 to 5 minutes may not sound that long, but with a well-structured STAR+HR format, you can include everything that you need: context, logic, action, and measurable results without overloading the listener. If your answer starts running long, you can reset the conversational sandtimer. That simply means pausing mid-answer to engage the interviewer. For example, at that point, I had to decide between optimizing for speed or scalability. Would you like me to walk you through how I approached that decision? That brief question resets the attention and buys you time, while also reframing you as a collaborator rather than a monologue speaker. You're not just answering, you're co creating the discussion. See, this is crucial because in modern interviews, especially those at companies like Amazon, Google, or Meta, interviewers are looking for how well you communicate, collaborate, and adjust your depth of explanation depending on who you're speaking with. Remember, clarity and adaptability are far more valued than talking endlessly about every technical detail. Your job is to make your thinking visible, not to overwhelm them with data. So, a great way to approach this is to visualize your answer in layers. The headline and result are your outer layers, the summary anyone can understand. The situation and task are your setup layer, providing enough context to make sense of your story, and the action and reflection are your deep layers where your process, reasoning, and learning live. When you speak, move through these layers naturally, starting broad and then moving deeper only when prompted or when the question explicitly calls for it. This not only makes your answer sound more structured, but also allows you to control the narrative arc, keeping the listener engaged the entire time. A good self-check during practice is to ask yourself after each section, is this directly relevant to the role that I'm applying for? If not, cut it out. Every sentence should be earning its place by connecting your experience to their company's needs. And if you're not sure what those needs are, that's exactly where my alignment guide helps you identify. It gives you tailored keywords and insights into the company's culture, technical expectations, and core competencies so that you can tailor every STAR HR story to what actually matters to them. Plus, if you use YT at checkout, you get 25% off. Link is in the description. Now, let's revisit the psychology behind why this structure works so well. Interviewers are cognitively limited. They can only hold a few chunks of information in working memory at once. When your answers are scattered, they struggle to piece together your story. But when your answers follow the STAR HR format, you're giving them a mental map: context, challenge, reasoning, and result. That's why this framework makes your answers easier to remember and easier to score. It aligns with how behavioral interview scoring rubrics are designed. Each section directly corresponds to a key assessment area: context, goal clarity, problem solving, impact, and reflection. Now, let's talk briefly about what enough information really means. Enough information doesn't mean telling them everything that you did. It means giving them everything they need to understand why and how what you did was valuable. That's a big difference. If you ever feel unsure whether to go deeper, remember, use that accordion question again. Would you like me to expand on that or focus on the main principles? This turns potential oversharing into a strength. You're letting the interviewer guide the level of detail. And when practicing, time your answers. You should aim for about 1 minute per section, with a little bit more flexibility in the action part. Keep the situation and task brief, 30 seconds to a minute combined. The headline should take no more than 15 seconds, and the reflection about 20 seconds. So that leaves you about 2.5 minutes to describe the action and the result in depth. If you're a software development engineer, your action section might include how you designed, debugged, or optimized something. But remember to explain why you made those decisions, not just what commands that you ran. If you're a visual designer, your action might focus on how you balanced user experience with brand or technical constraints, why certain design principles guided your decisions. And if you're a PM, your action section might highlight how you aligned stakeholders, prioritized trade-offs, and made data-driven choices. The reflection at the end lets you show maturity. It can be as simple as acknowledging what you learned about communication, about management, about balancing user and business needs. See, when you approach your answers this way, you become concise by design. You're not trying to memorize lines, you're following a logic that makes your story flow naturally while ensuring every detail you include is there for a reason. And finally, remember that relevance is what transforms technically correct answers into engaging ones. Link every story back to the role that you're applying for. Highlight the competencies that they care about, whether it's problem solving, innovation, collaboration, or technical depth. Remember, to make that easier, use my alignment guide. It gives you customized insights into the role that you're targeting, including keywords and behaviors that the interviewers are looking for. You'll find details on cultural fit, technical skills, and types of stories that resonate best for that company and position. So to summarize this approach, start with a headline that answers the question up front. Set the scene briefly in the situation, define the business problem in the task, show your reasoning and method in the action, quantify your outcome in the result, and then close with a reflection to show learning and growth. Keep it to around 3 to 5 minutes, expand only when invited, and use mini questions mid-answer to stay conversational and reset the attention. So there we have it. That's how to add enough information into your interview answers without talking too much. By structuring your responses with STAR+HR, you're not just answering the questions, you're demonstrating clarity of thought, strategic awareness, and the ability to communicate at the right level of depth for your audience. Remember, this isn't about giving longer answers. It's about giving layered ones, where every sentence earns its place, every technical detail has a reason, and every reflection shows that you're constantly learning and improving. Now, before you go, if you found this video useful, please don't forget to like and subscribe, not just to be notified for when a new video goes up, but because your engagement is the best and free way to tell YouTube, TikTok, and LinkedIn to share this out to a wider audience, where somebody who really needs to see it will see it. Many thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.